All right, class, happy Thursday. Population density in your state. Now remember, this lesson is aimed at us doing some research together in class on Wisconsin. We're going to take a look at what they're talking about in California, and then we're going to roll on with an assignment from the previous day's work, okay? But we want to cover these pages. It's pages 92 and 93 in your books if you're following along on TCI. What is the population density in the area you live in? How is it compared to other areas in your state? Of course, we live in Milwaukee, guys, so our population density is pretty high here. It's not quite as high as in Bosch Wash, but it is very high. Creating your own population density map can help you answer these questions. The first step in making a population density map is to choose the place that you want the map to represent. For example, you might want to choose San Francisco, Santa Barbara, or Reddings, which are all places in California. The next you want to do is find population density for each of the areas. You need to research each place's population data. You can look at U.S. Census Bureau website to get this information. Then record it on a table like the one shown here at the bottom. Divide the population by area to get the population density for each place. As you can see, the population is very different from place to place. So let's check out the California one. San Francisco, here is people per square mile. Again, not as high as New York, but 17,000 is pretty high. Check out Reddings, 1,500 people per square mile. So obviously there's a big difference between those. And you can see the rest of them. San Francisco is even bigger than Los Angeles. Once you have the population information, you can make your map. First, make a map of the place you choose. In this example, you might make a map of California. You might also show physical features, landmarks, or natural resources on the map. Make sure to make a key to show how you represented other features. Triangles could represent mountains, and blue circles could represent lakes. You will also have to make a key on your map to show the population. For instance, you could use different colors to represent different numbers. Here, red is used to show the population density of 15,000 square miles and up. Look at the key. What does the yellow represent? So that would be 0 to 5,000 per square mile. So obviously the yellow is the smallest. There's Reddings. The orange is Los Angeles is in the middle, and the red is San Francisco. When you make a map, use your key to mark up your map. Look at the table and read the population density for each city. Pick the appropriate color, then represent it. Then mark the area of the city in that color. Look at this map of California. Which places has the lowest population and the highest? Analyzing your map can help you understand why populations are different from place to place. San Francisco and Los Angeles are close to water. People might move there because they can easily ship goods and natural resources from the ocean. Reddings is in the mountains. Less people might move there because it is harder to get to, and they are far from the water. How else does the population density affect people's daily life? Well, of course, if we were looking in Wisconsin, our population density of our cities that are close to Lake Michigan is much higher. We also have some big cities along the Mississippi River like La Crosse. Those different locations of those cities matter because of the water. Madison is not located on the Great Lakes or a river, but it does have two big lakes like Mendota and Miltona in Madison that help them move and ship goods. Okay, that was it. We're going to take on population density in our state. Here's what you need. For your assignment today, you need this sheet out of your Tuesday or Wednesday folder, and you need your Thursday assignment. Here's the directions. It says write a 3-point paragraph that persuades someone to live in the city or in the country. So you don't have to call it the city of Milwaukee. You don't have to say the country of Reedsburg, out in the country, the city of Reedsburg. You don't have to say where I grew up, the small town of New Ulm. You can just say, hey, I think it'd be better to live in a big city. Here are my 3 reasons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan a small town. Okay, now I'm from a small town. You might call me a hick from the sticks. And here are my 3 reasons. 1, I'm checking out my sheet here. I see less pollution. I think 2, less people. The place I cannot stand going is the mall. Why? There's 1,500,000 people at the mall, and I don't know anybody. So I got less people, and I know more people. In small town, I know almost everybody. Anybody I run into on the street, I know, and I can greet. Okay? Small towns also have less crime. In my house in New Ulm, where we grew up, we not only would leave our doors unlocked, sometimes in the spring and the fall when there was fresh air out, we'd leave the front door standing wide open. Even if we went down the street to our friend's house, we'd just leave the front door wide open. And the screen door let all the fresh air in, and that's how small the city was. You didn't have to worry about any kind of crime. Okay, so how am I going to start this now that I got my 3 ideas? Now, maybe you guys like the big city. Maybe you like all the theaters and the zoo and State Fair Park. There's so much to do here. Maybe you like having lots and lots of sports teams that you can go watch at the Bradley Center or at the Pfizer Forum or at Miller Park. Maybe you like all those. So maybe you pick the big city. So your 3 points might be different than mine. But here's how it should start. It should start with an I believe or I think statement. I believe living in a small town in the country is the best place to live on earth. Period. That's my believe statement. I believe. Yours might sound like this. I believe the best place to live is in a big city. Then my next one's going to say, I have 3 reasons why I believe country living is where it's at. And now I'm going to do the same thing we do on our reading essays. My first point, which is down here, and then I'm going to have support. My second point, then support. My third point, and then support, and then finally my conclusion. Now, how should these first point supports sound? I would say it exactly how it is. I believe living in a small town in a country is the best place on earth to live. I have 3 reasons why I believe country living is where it's at. My first reason is there's less pollution, period. Now I'm going to prove that in my support. There is less pollution in small towns because there are less people, less cars, and less factories, period. My second reason to live in a small town is because there are less people. Because we live in a small town, there are fewer people around, which allows you to get to know everybody, period. My third one is there is less crime in a small town, and then my support. There's less crime in a small town, and then I give my reason. Okay? So you already got 2 sentences, and you got these 6 more, and your conclusion will give you a total of 9 sentences. How many do you need to get an A+? You need 9 sentences. Okay? Now, if you guys need any help with this, I'll be available on our Zoom call. The afternoon Zoom call would be a great time for us to work through one of these. If you have questions, I'm available. God bless your day.